Good. All right, it should be recording.
Okay.
Let's start it. Okay, it's going. Hey, we're together.
Sweet.
We're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the invite, brother.
It was both of us. It was both of us coming together. We must be in the flow, huh?
Absolutely.
I've been
Sure. Try to stay there.
I've been fighting the flow a little bit this week.
Oh yeah, how so?
I think after whenever I had contacted you, I was in the flow. I'm flowing with several, like everything, right? And then
Right.
this is the breakthrough. This is me showing up. This is, but up to here was like showing up, like just
Right.
continuing on with everything I got to do, because a lot of times we freak ourselves out in our mind about something that we're going to do, or even getting to the point to say, hey brother, you want to do you want to get on a one-on-one call and speak intuitively, like let whatever comes out happen. For most people,
Right.
that's scary. So, and then another thing is like people are afraid, and myself included, in allowing ourselves to connect with ourselves, which is you. It's just you
Right.
may be a different image, but we're the same. So actually connecting with each other,
Absolutely.
and so showing up. So there was resistance, but it's like my one-on-one calls that I do with people. It's like when I first started them, there was resistance. I have to do so much because I'm charging these people a pretty good amount of money. I have to have something that's incredible to show up each week. So like I would spend hours just thinking about like what I could design to come up with. And it came down to the fact that I didn't need to design anything, the design was already in me when the phone call happens. And why can't it be that simple and make that much money?
Right. Yeah, that's beautiful, brother. I think we get in our own way so much that like you said, it just bogs us down when we overthink instead of just going with that flow. So that's a beautiful self-reflection on.
I was watching thank you. I received that. That's another thing, is like receiving compliments. That is super important. I used to be horrible at receiving
Absolutely.
compliments. I used to reflect them back, be like, oh no, no, you didn't just do that.
Right.
I want
Why do you think we do that?
to not receive fear of rejection, fear of acceptance, fear of ourselves. And a lot of times we don't know when we're doing it. We don't understand the concept of self-acceptance. We don't understand all these different concepts that I now understand. Why do you think we do that? I could probably think deeper into where it actually comes from.
Right. Probably insecurity, some insecurity and uncertainty in ourselves, like you said. I think you described it pretty well.
Yeah, sometimes when I sit with it, we could just like bring it to like the levels. I've noticed that most of our insecurities, most of our trauma, so our insecurity is based from our trauma. And I've noticed that working with people that there's only like one area of trauma that we have to look at. It could come from our mom, it could come from our dad, but it's usually one. And that one hurt so bad that we started blocking everything else out. So if we go back into looking at that one trauma, we start unlocking all the other crap. And not crap.
Right.
It's not crap. It's beautiful.
It feels like crap.
Yeah, it does.
When you're blocking it.
Absolutely. But there's strengths, there's strong points. It just doesn't seem like strong points back to the flow. Whenever you're not in the flow and you're in resistance, right? It seems like crap. But when you're in the flow, it's not crap.
Right.
I think I said that. I don't know. I felt like I was going to say something else, but let it go.
No, you're good, brother. You're good. That made sense. I wanted to ask you. I was looking at your website, which you did a beautiful job with, and I really enjoyed some of your blog posts. I didn't get to read them all, but I will. Do you have any? What is the significance to the lion for you on your opening page? I love that picture.
This the lion. That's man. There's so much significance to it because I mean, even on my wall right here, there's a lion. You can't really see it.
Yeah, I
There's
see
an
it.
angel, and then there's a lion right here, and that lion's like that everlasting soulful essence that's always sitting waiting so patiently within ourselves, and it's just
Hmm.
like something that you see when you hit the sight that goes like boom, like just um,
Yep.
kind of makes you remember, it gives you a
Hmm.
playful because it's very artsy. It's not it's very
Hmm.
powerful yet subtle, I would say. The
Right.
significance, my dog passed away, and I've seen him in higher forms, and he was huge, beautiful lion, almost like 10 times the size of Pegasus, and just like gorgeous, just outlined uh,
Oh man,
with
powerful.
gold, just like that. And he was a golden retriever, looked just like a lion. And he was always protecting me. When I got beat up by the police in 2015, he was there to protect me. I don't usually take him with me on trips like that, but he would happen to be with me, and he protected me from them hurting me even worse. And then when he passed away, he brought me into my lion heart. He brought, like, his trauma brought up my trauma, like, or the trauma um, of 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 him transitioning and transforming out of this physical world,
Hmm.
brought up not only his passing away, but like that was when I really had my breakthrough. And that wasn't like, it was like, I think it was like almost like 6 or 7 months ago. Doesn't Time flies.
Hmm.
Time
Wow.
ceases to exist in my reality.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
significance for the lion for me. I have a lion heart, like all of us do.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely. Are you familiar with Lyrans? I don't know how much you get into like extraterrestrials and like soul um, origination, like where your soul, the planetary system that your soul originated in. But maybe you should look into the Lyrans. It's like
lion.
the oldest soul group that's come to Lyrans. Yeah.
Tell
I'll
me
send you
about
some
it.
information, man. It may resonate with you.
Tell me what's coming
So
on your heart about
basically,
it.
what's that?
Tell me what's coming on your heart about it. Like, explain.
I feel like that's your soul origin, where your soul originated before you came to Earth many, many, many millennia ago. And so essentially, our souls aren't just of Earth. And I don't know if how much you get into that, but you can trace back your lineage outside of past lives on Earth and go all the way back to the beginning of time, essentially, for your soul. And a lot of people now are originating from Lyra, and the consciousness level that's coming into play is from the souls that originated there. So they're bringing all that ancient, timeless wisdom and bringing us into this new age. So that's a very brief description. I'll send you some more information. It may resonate with you.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that. So you're saying like, where have I've seen, whenever we created this world, like like,
Yep.
yeah, I saw we were at this light table, and it was huge, just massive, as far as I could see, right?
Yeah.
And there was a
Yeah,
tree
man.
over us, and there was leaves
Woo!
falling. Yeah, chills, right?
Yeah, man.
And we were taking these leaves. These leaves we would ingest, and they would just, and we would transition to these worlds, and like in a thought form, just a thought. We were creating whole simulations of worlds, and they weren't inhabited yet. They were just simulations. They were just simulations, but we weren't.
Mm.
And
Right.
and we were just creating, we create instant creators. Um,
Creators.
no worries. And
Absolutely.
in this room,
Ooh, man.
right? There was no walls in this room. It was It was wide open. It was like you were sitting on
Yeah.
a cloud. It wasn't like in the sky.
Right.
Not saying sky. I don't remember there being sky, but it's
I know
just
what you mean. Just the vastness of.
yeah, unlimited room, and we were huge. Like
Absolutely.
on a scale of compared to what? I
Right.
don't know,
Exactly.
but we were massive. So yeah, you received that message right now. I appreciate that because most people, I get kind of like, that when you're saying information, you're like, I don't know if this is going to be received very well. I'm not afraid to say
That's
it,
kind of
but
how I felt.
it's
Right.
it's nice whenever you have someone that knows.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. And that's why we are connecting on this call.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I did want to ask you about your situation with the police. Um, so another reason, maybe some healing. I was a police officer for 5 years. So do you want to talk about that? I feel like you brought that up for a reason.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. And it's pretty cool that you're a police officer. That's
I,
really
I
awesome.
was, I got out of it. It didn't align with me anymore.
You're the reason why you got into being a police officer is to be a peace officer.
Right.
You're still,
Protect and serve.
yeah, you're a peace officer. I appreciate that. And
Mhm.
by the way, I don't hate any police officer or have anything. You're going to be amazed by this story because I mean, what I said in this story was completely real and from my heart. And I'll tell you as the story goes. So I had studied the laws and stuff about being a sovereign citizen and not having to produce your license and not having to like I had pulled over for the cops. So anyway, I was in a transition where I was uh, questioning. I wanted to know why I was being asked for my license. Why um, are you on duty? Are you an official officer right now? Do you have a right to ask me like what's your badge number and all that stuff? Anyway, so I got pulled over and well, I didn't get pulled over. I actually pulled over for the officer because he was following me. So I pulled into this parking lot before he could actually pull me over. And he pulled his lights on and he pulled up right behind me and blocked me in right where I was and came up to my window. Are you there? Okay. Um, and
Yeah, I'm back.
and
111.
111. I didn't give him. He asked for my license, and I asked for his badge number. And I had said that I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm just pointing from point A to point B. I have a right to travel, and you didn't pull me over. I pulled over for you, and I just asking you, what do you need? Because I'm willing to help you if you're looking for something. And he said, I'm looking for your license. And anyway, I believe, I don't remember, I think I gave him my license or I didn't, but I don't think I did. And I didn't sign their ticket. And 7 or 8 officers came and dragged me out of my car, and my dog happened to be there, and they ended up slamming my head against the car, slamming my head on the cement, putting me in handcuffs. And the sergeant, the guy that Doug Emery that had saw it, said the guy put on black gloves and said, I'm going to deal with this shit. And like came up and just started socking me in the back of my head and back of my chest as I was down with handcuffs on and they all attacked me against the car, put me up against the car and stuff, and then put me in the car, tased and pepper sprayed my dog. And then I had
Wow.
gotten, yeah, and Chisholm had got away with him from him, even with the tasing and everything, and got in the car and looked at me. And I said, it's okay. I said, we'll be home soon. And I said, leave it. Because that's the code signal, like just surrender.
Right. Chill.
And he
Right.
chilled out, and they put the noose around his neck and dragged him out and stuff. And he was good. They were trying to execute him that day, to put him down. He didn't get executed, thankfully, because I would have been devastated.
Right.
But the officer got in the car, and I just out of nowhere, I said, I love you, but not the things you do. I said it just came out of my heart just straight, and he stopped. And this was I wanted to talk to him, and this is after everything. After they took me to the hospital and everything, and I said, I have something to tell you. And he's like, well, you don't have to speak to me. And I said, I want to. And I said, I love you, but not the things you do. And then he ended up breaking his whole persona, and I had said, hey, I want to give you a few things to look up on YouTube. And so he's like, all right, what are they? and like he wrote them down and looked them up. His name was Ortiz, and he's a loving dude in his heart. But when those dudes get
Right.
around each other, and they become pack animals, and they have
Mm-hmm.
no desire to break that pact with them,
Mm-hmm.
with the others around them. So that's what happened in 2015, and it had trailed. They had arrested me again, put me in jail, and like 10 other officers in the sheriff's office beat the shit out of me again in the cell at jail. And then I had finally went in court and was like, hey, I I got like 180 days served, and then they had just slapped me on the wrist with probation because had a civil lawsuit and shit against them. That's what really started firing them up. And then I just dropped
Mm-hmm.
it. I said, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't like I like life.
Right.
I'm figuring this out. And I hadn't been in trouble. I told myself I'm not going to go back to jail because I grew up in foster care, 26 foster homes and juvenile hall and all that stuff. And when I got out, I said, I'm not going to get in trouble. You know what I mean? And I didn't until that
Mm-hmm.
happened. And I learned a lot from it. It woke me the hell up. And I appreciate every one of those officers. Like I have nothing against like I went back and hugged one of the main ones, like one of the main meanest ones, and hugged him during
Mm-hmm.
a conference that they were having in front of everyone because he had to hug me. And he knew exactly. And he's like, how are you? I said, I'm doing good, man. And I say, how are you? And he's like, good. So yeah.
That's beautiful, brother. That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with me. You know what else is kind of crazy and synchronistic between our stories? I now work for juvenile courts, and I work with kids in the detention center and teach them about emotional intelligence and breathing and all that stuff. So that's another beautiful synchronicity that we have going on.
How is that for you?
Oh man, I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's what I transitioned from the road. I started in the detention center when I was working on the road, and once I got a couple years into my career, and it just became such a us versus them mentality, and it just really was not sitting well with me, and I was finding myself dreading going to work. And I had been reprimanded a couple times for not writing enough tickets, and it's like, okay, is this really what you want to do? Because for me, it was kind of an easy, natural transition out of the Marine Corps into law enforcement. I led a very ego-driven life for a very long time, so it's like natural transition. And as I grew and evolved and started discovering stuff about myself, I realized that that's not where I needed or wanted to be. So developing a program to work with these kids and help these kids in a different capacity is really where my heart was. So it's been very, very rewarding, and I wouldn't change it for the world, brother. So
Wow. Yeah, dude, that's some deep stuff. Like how does it man, there's so many questions I could ask you. It goes so many different ways. What's the How does it feel to be in that um ego sense? Because a lot of people have an issue with military and cops
mm-hmm. Right.
because of the ego sense. So how does it feel to have been in that and to what you have now?
Empowering. I think it is very empowering for me because so when I started my process, one of my big like heart and mind opening experiences was a peyote ceremony with a shaman down in Costa Rica. And this just like blew me wide open. And I was getting the message that I was to be a bridge from the ego driven military macho alpha male mindset to this heart centered being that we all are and we all can be if we learn about ourselves and learn about our traumas and heal. So I found it in my reality that I'm able to reach that ego side in a way that they can receive, rather than somebody that's um, got dreadlocks and a long beard, and you know what I'm saying, like the ego driven side is not going to receive the message from them. So I kept getting, you're to be a bridge, be a bridge, be a bridge. So working with law enforcement and kids, and it's been a really powerful experience now teaching breath work and meditation to the very fields that need it the most, really. So it's been really powerful and really empowering.
Isn't it amazing how our contract with ourselves to be here goes from a place that you'll think you'll never get out of to into your actual work? And like this was like your one only thing that you could do in life is become a police officer in military, and then all of a sudden you're doing multiple things, like you're enjoy.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, man. I'm super grateful that I've I got to have that experience in Costa Rica that kind of cracked me open and showed me that there was so much more. Yeah, it's really beautiful, man. Really, really beautiful.
So what
And my plate has.
Oh, go ahead. Your
Go
plate.
ahead, brother. My plate has just expanded so much, and I think that's kind of what you were getting at. Is like I saw that as like all I was doing, and now I not only work a full-time job, but I also run a men's group and do a podcast, and my plate has grown as my heart has grown. And it's not overwhelming at all when you live from heart center, because that life force energy and that flow, there's no resistance. So it's like, shit, I feel like I could do a million things, and you know what I'm saying, without bogging myself down.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I totally get it. I totally get it. 'Cause then the other way is like not what we're just getting trained. We're like resistance training.
Right.
And then we only think we could do one thing. We could only have one relationship. We could only have this one job. We could only have this one house. We could only have this one. It's almost singularity. But you're so much more than that. So once you become out of it, and then you start talking about flow, and half the time when we talk about flow, it's before, what the hell are you talking about, the vortex? What are you talking about, the flow? How did people don't even know where that go? and
Right.
and so it takes a minute. Even right now, I'm still expanding. We both are, all of us are, and I haven't figured it all out. I hop back and forth sometimes. And if I hop into one distraction, it seems to lead to other distractions. But I notice I have my online calls. I have this call with you. I have my blog. I have my website, and I have my physical fitness. I have my wanting to expand to Juvenile Hall, wanting to go talk at prisons, wanting to go talk to police officers, wanting to go do all that stuff. And I will, and I'll expand it. And then my distractions go away. Like I don't do drugs. I don't feel like I need drugs anymore. I don't feel at all I need alcohol. That's for damn sure. I feel like I need some water. I feel like food's still in and out. I still struggle with foods. Like ate waffles last night. You know what I mean? Like not a horrible thing, but with maple syrup and things that are natural, as much as at the same time I ate really good in the morning. And so little things like that, we transition. And I notice the days, it's very important, the food that we eat, like super important. Like I got up on the shelf right here, I got all the veggies and stuff, and I do eat really well. Drinking a lot of water and stuff, that really affects your flow. Like you could go in 2 seconds, be in the flow with all these different things, and food will take you straight out of it. Whenever you start doubting yourself and you got something in the refrigerator that's calling your name on it, that's a little bit heavy, or the fact you could have the most healthiest food and eat too much. So it's like you really got to tap into these inner knowings and this truth within ourselves that really tell us, like, this is how much I should eat. This is what I should be eating right now. Like earlier before phone call, I was like, oh, I'm gonna eat a bowl of cereal, and I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're gonna take your turmeric. You're gonna take your turmeric shot. You're gonna take your ginger. You're gonna do that, and you're gonna clear your gut health. You're gonna put some apple cider vinegar in your turmeric shot, and you're gonna clear that gut health because you need your gut clear right now. And
Absolutely.
and doing those things really affects our potential and the flow.
For sure. And in a physical sense, it's, people don't realize a lot of our happy hormones are released from our gut. So when that bacteria is out of balance and that bad bacteria is dominating, that's exactly what keeps us out of the flow. I think that's an excellent point, and people need to realize that your gut is where your happiness comes from in the physical world, you know, as far as the hormones that are released through a happy gut.
It's
I
interesting.
love the apple cider vinegar.
Oh, dude, yeah. And the thing is consistency. So
Mm-hmm.
less is more. I knew that when I grew marijuana back in the day, is I knew my nutrients. They told me always less is always more, especially when you're going to be continuous with the nutrient schedule. Less is always more. Now I don't feel like I need marijuana at all. I definitely don't, because that shit gets me off track. And when you're
Right.
low, you don't need none of that stuff. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm relating to my marijuana story because I learned a lot about growing within myself and
Mm-hmm.
with nutrients. So I relate that to less is more. So like when you're continuous with your nutrient schedule and you got your turmeric, you got your apple cider vinegar and all that stuff, just a little bit. You don't gotta overwhelm yourself, because a lot of us will want to put more. We'll think more is better.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take a lot of turmeric and it tastes like horrible, if you put a lot of apple cider vinegar and it tastes horrible, your brain says, "Oh no, 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 no," and you have a hard time with it. So the next time you do it, it's even harder. So like starting off with a little tiny bit, and then working our way up is super important. Take some raw honey and stuff. I could do a lot of raw honey, but
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Me too, brother.
I just want to say for anyone that hears us right now that like whenever you're starting off on nutrients, less is more. Less is always more, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're not creating that stress response from overdoing it, and you start to put that and tie that negative energy to it. It's like, oh man, this stuff is horrible. Instead of thinking this is going to be good for my stomach and keep me in that flow state. So yeah, I agree completely. And I
And
love honey as well.
oh, dude, I got on my site. You saw the raw honey, guys. I did a video.
Yeah.
I did that of the raw. I gotta go see him today. He's there every Sunday. So I go to get my honey. I go through honey like crazy. Here at this house, we go through honey like crazy. I also drink my water from. I took a vodka
Have a blue
bottle and cut out the thing because I like pineapple and glass. I put my water in glass with a little bit of sea salt, because most people don't know that purified water is no good for you. You got to add
Mm-hmm.
the 50 plus minerals that comes in Himalayan salt. You could add into your water, and electrolytes. That's the most important part. It's got to have binders.
Oh man.
So
Yeah, man. You just described my every morning elixir, man. I use some raw honey, pink Himalayan sea salt, some lemon, and oh yeah, good stuff, brother.
it's crazy because it's like this woman was getting what signs of COVID the other day, and I told her um, uh, go get Bronklin. You can get it at Walmart. It's all natural. It's got eucalyptus oil in it. It's got propolis, which is honey, and extracts that are natural. It's from Mexico. When they don't have the equipment and stuff, they use it for farm animals. Way back in the day, and now it's for humans consumption. It always was, because it's always natural. And then get ginger and my whole thing I just said. She messaged me back and she's like, "Thank you so much." She's like, "The symptoms went away so quick." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome." Like, oh yeah. And drink lots of water, man. Drink lots of water. So good. So good.
Absolutely. So, man, what is your overall goal with creating these videos? What is your intent? Just to keep educating and keep putting out wisdom?
For me, consistency within myself. For me, and like the main
Mm-hmm.
base is like start making videos, because the universe is
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to make them. We're supposed to connect,
Mm-hmm.
and we're supposed to make them. So like consistency, like we were just saying with the diet and stuff like that, like it's not a diet, it's lifestyle. Like it's a choice. Either you're not making the videos or you are.
Right.
Either you could put the information out there or you're not. It's for becoming a better speaker through mind, body, and spirit. It's to make myself a better creator. I'm not a better, just bring out the innate intrinsic value of being a creator that's within ourselves, and doing that for both of us, kind of like we're in two different locations, but we're working out right next to each other, like being in the gym. Um, and like you
Absolutely.
just said, the other bridge is being a bridge, like being the bridge for the information, like you were just saying. But my main focus is really where it comes down to is like doing it for me, doing it for myself, because that's what I've learned about this whole thing is like if you don't do your breath work, if you don't do your videos, if you don't do your taking care of yourself, you don't show up for nobody else. Your cup ain't full. So that's my um, main attraction towards doing the videos.
It's powerful, brother. Powerful. At the
I would,
beginning, you said you watched something and then the conversation got cut off. Do you remember what that thought was? You watched one of my videos or watched, I don't know.
I watched
No.
your video about flow. I watched your video about flow,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, that is such a great video, and you just made it not too long,
Thank you,
and
brother. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, me and Amy both watched it, and she just, I mean, we both just melted and appreciated into what you had to say, um, and
Thank you, brother.
hell yeah, and it's so what I'm going through, and I'm okay with saying that I don't have the flow down. I'm willing to step into the flow. I'm willing to create the flow. I'm willing to do things other people absolutely are freaking scared shitless to do. Um, but I have that back and forth, kind of like when you're stopping drugs, like when you're stopping drugs and stuff like that, and realize you don't need them, but then you like have a bad day or something, and you're like, I'm going to take some shrooms to figure something out, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do none of my breath work. I didn't do none of my grounding. I didn't work where I could work from without even needing the shrooms. But I take the
Right.
shrooms and stuff, but then it takes a while to learn your lessons that you say, finally, hey, I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not condemning anybody. I'm saying right now, I'm not condemning anybody that takes any drugs anywhere. I needed what I needed when I needed it to go through what I needed to go through to be able to take the steps to the next, not level, because I don't believe so much in like you're lower or higher. It's just I am where I choose to be and where I'm stepping, and I don't want to condemn anyone from feeling like they should stop drugs. You'll know when. You'll definitely know when your body will say, hey, it's enough, or hey, I had to figure this stuff out. My basic thing with drugs was the fact that I feel great when I do good nutrition. I feel great knowing that today I could show up for you and myself. Because if I would have took LSD last night, I wouldn't be showing up right now like I would want to. You know what I mean? Or if I drank alcohol,
Absolutely.
I would be off course. I would have ate something. I would have told myself all kinds of excuses. I would have sent you a message that said, you know what, let's do this a different day. I don't want that. That
Yeah.
takes me out of where I'm
Right.
going, and that where I'm going back to what we were saying is the flow. Because
Yeah.
me and my wife Amy, she's in the flow. Like she's doing so damn good. She's got several things going, and she realized that she doesn't only have to do one thing. There's different things that like. There's people that like breath work right now. There's people that like doll making. She does doll making. There's people that like to buy things on Etsy. There's people that like to buy things on Facebook Marketplace. There's people that like to check out some music videos that are inspirational. There's people that like to watch these certain. So it's kind of like we're content creators, and when we're in that mode of doing all this stuff, we get in that flow, and it's like, man, I could just keep going, and like my alarm clock doesn't wake me up. My passion does.
Oh, I like that. I
Yeah.
really like that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful, brother. I'm gonna have to share that one.
Absolutely. Like I've been going to bed at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock because I am just exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But I get up at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Um, and recently with being in and out of the flow, I will wake back up at like 7 o'clock and be like, oh no, I'll wake up at 5 and be like, oh man, not 7. I don't ever wake up at 7 anymore. I wake up at like 5, and then I'm like, oh no, I ain't getting up. And then I convince myself to stay in bed, like old school, old school stuff.
Right.
And I said, you know, this is okay. This is okay. This is okay. And today it's like, no, I'm getting up out of bed, got up out of bed, did worked on my website a little bit, things that I wanted to move around and stuff like that. And I want to put even more on there. And then I'm excited about this phone call, and I had a lot of stuff I had to work through. So I got to get up and show up to be able to work through what I needed to work through.
Good for you, man. That's beautiful. I think, excuse me, one point that you touch on of going in and out of the flow is learning to give yourself grace and understand the journey is going to take you out of the flow at points in your life. So giving yourself grace and not beating yourself up too much will help you get back to that flow. And I know you know that, but for whoever may be listening, give yourself grace, because life is going to throw you off track at times, but that grace is what will get you back the quickest from my experience. So
yeah, and that's part of what you were talking about in your video, is that you were talking about the flow, and I think this is so important, is not to just be like holier than thou, like, oh, you should be in the flow, I'm in the flow every day, every second.
right,
like that's the way
it's false light.
I used to have to make false light, and I used to be a false light to myself and to others, and people would be like, you're happy all the time? No, I'm not happy all the time. Well, you seem happy all the time. All your stuff's always happy all the time. I'm like, okay, I need to talk about my darkness. So then I started talking about my darkness and stuff. And then I went back and forth on that. But it's very important now we talk about, these are the hiccups, because that's what we need to make videos for, because people need to know what's coming up. People are clicking on our video intuitively, and it's coming in front of them because, and they'll have even more of effect to go in front of a bigger audience, a bunch more people, if we're authentic with that, because the universe is only sending it in front of the people that it's for at the time. So if you're going to be a false light, it's going to go in front of the people that are portraying a false light, or the people in a small category that are resonating with what you're doing. If you're real with your experience, if you're like, hey, this is what I went through, it's really hard, this is what I did to get out of it, to get through it, and this is what I learned from it, and this is even that I needed to get out of it. It's the fact that I learned something from it. This is what I learned from it. And if you do it too, I would love to hear what you learned from your experience as well. I think that's what we do. It's storytelling. I think storytelling is powerful.
It lets people know they're not alone in their journey. It's like, holy cow, that. And you speak of it finding the people that it's meant to find. Man, there's no truer statement, because I've had a lot of people like, hey, your videos, why don't you add some production value? Why don't you, make it more of a production? And it's like, I think that takes away from my own authenticity and my own intent, because the connections that I've made organically through just speaking have been so powerful. And I have it's 250 followers on YouTube, so it's not a lot, but almost every one of those has been an organic one-on-one connection where people are like, holy cow, thank you. So it's super powerful. And actually a crazy, well, it'll sound crazy, but it's not crazy to me because the understanding I have with the universe. But in Costa Rica, I actually went to a festival called the Envision Fest. And I was down there in my own element dancing one night, and this guy came up to me and he said, "Are you Chad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He was like, "Chad from Ohio? I saw your video on YouTube." I'm like, I'm in Costa Rica, like the odds. And there were two other people that heard him say that had seen my videos. I mean, my videos have 40 views. It's not a large production by any means. So it's like that the universe put me right there with three people that had been impacted by my videos was just such a divine confirmation that I was on the right path. And oh man, gives me chills telling the story, man. It's super powerful experience in my reality.
That is amazing. And at those points, how long ago was that?
That was, I think, 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Last time I went down to the Envision Fest.
I've had that happen, just locally, not all the way in Costa Rica, which is amazing, but in the same sense.
Mm.
And part of us, there's a few parts. There's the I don't accept this because it's unreal. So like being able to accept it, and then the getting my head big, like, oh, now I'm like getting almost that ego sense back, and learning to curb it, learning that that's not the importance of it. The importance is that I actually affected these people. Now I'm going to go make more videos. But sometimes it can turn into, I'm going to make more videos. Yeah, these people, and now I got to be careful about what I'm saying, and that I want to do it this way. And then you end up not making more videos. You end up not showing up because they got to be in a certain way. Oh my gosh, the acceptance part is like, if I put this out, if I put this information out, will I be accepted? And the part of us not being in our flow, the part of not like edging our God out, which is the inner innate who we are, and saying our message. From there is where the acceptance goes away. We don't need acceptance when we're coming from there, but when we're not coming from there, that's where the acceptance matters. So it's not like I need to figure something out in my life to my traumas to figure out this acceptance issue. No, this acceptance issue comes from being within our power, being in the flow, and that when we get in the flow, we start understanding that. But did you get that at all whenever you like got those compliments? Did you get like how did that work out for you?
So that you touched on a really powerful point, especially in my reality, is coming from an ego-driven life that I led for so long, that I knew for 30 years. I've always had to be honest with myself and my intent. And, you know, I found myself coming in and out of the flow for that exact reason, because, you know, my intent is to share the message with as many people need to receive it. And so seeing the state that we're at collectively, my ego is like, you need to talk to the masses, you know, you need to get this message out. And on the other end of that, it's like, whoa, you know, you don't need to talk to the masses. Like, reminding myself of the intent of just letting the videos find whoever they need to find, and trusting the universe that if it's meant for the masses, it'll get there on its own, without that production and without that the message needs to be coming from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So keeping that balance and that self truth of not slipping into that ego driven side, because I have felt that, you know, I've felt that blockage from like, okay, I need to get this message out. I need to share it. I need to, you know, advertise my YouTube page. I need to advertise my podcast. You know, it's a slippery slope for me, because that was my programming for 30 plus years. And I'm only a few years deep into my heart centered journey, you know? And so it's a very powerful thing you brought up, man.
Yeah, it's important, because when we talk about it, it makes us, it puts us, we're empowered because we're honest about it. We're whenever we blame anything else, or say, oh, that's why, like, and it's false. It's a false light, like you were talking about earlier. It's false. It's a false truth. Whenever I'm honest with ourselves, like about the process, about why it happened and stuff like that, then we start going. It starts unlocking doors that we couldn't see before, because it's like a key. So when we talk about it, it's super important. And when you're in that flow and you're like, hey, bro, let's make a video. I don't know what the hell. I just know I need to contact you. I know that we need to make a video, and we're here making a video right now. And this right here is the organic marketing. This right here is, hey, we need to now, like, as we go, we should do this every week. If you're open, I'm open to do this every week. And then we expand it. When you're like, hey, I found this dude, he wants to hop on the phone call with me, and like we're talking and stuff like that. Say he has a big following. He shoots your video right on his site, or the video that's happening right now, and then all of a sudden you have 25,000 more people following you, but you don't care about that. The thing is that the connection it's not that we don't care. It's not that I don't care that I'm affecting 25,000 people, because I absolutely love that. That's great. But I'm so in the flow that I don't have time to even pay attention to that. I want to do more calls.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go out to do this, and I want to work on my website, and and you're just going. That's where you build. It's the consistency of the many things that you enjoy doing and you're building upon that bring that huge amount. I noticed when I was in the flow, my site, because I sell things on Marketplace to put my message out, because people are always looking to buy things. So the best place to put
Right.
out, I make money. I sell things at the same time I'm marketing, and the people that don't buy stuff, they look at my description and it says, no, check out Transformation Nation. If you're into transformation, I appreciate you. I love you. Have a good day. Da, 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 da. And that's under my description. So if someone buys something, great. But that's not my mode. My mode is actually to use it as advertisements, and to the smarter way is that you get to actually make money on your advertisements. So that's some organicness right there. But it's also something that I enjoy. I enjoy selling collectible cars. I enjoy it's something, and I don't make a lot of money. I don't expect any money from Transformation Nation. If donations come in or whatnot, cool. But I needed to create something else financially to take care of my side. So everything's taken care of, and it has been.
Right.
And everything's always been taken care of for me. Like even through foster care, juvenile hall, even being locked up in juvenile hall took care of me. Even like that's my family. Like that's your family when you're in there. Group homes. Me and my wife, we have our apartment right now. It's taken care of. So we're financially taken care of by the government right now. At the same time, I'm able to grow and expand in a huge way, and that's important to me. And we got a huge, nice apartment, and we all really care about each other in here. So it's we go through our family difficulties and stuff like that, but we've been investing in each other, and we've been taking care of each other, and we've worked through everything. That's been hard for us, and it's just wonderful. I could say so much more. I mean, me and my wife had a self studio where we taught not too long ago downtown. And because all this is taken care of, we were able to jump in a self studio and teach breathing downtown right before the pandemic hit. And we taught art classes and stuff. All this art right here and stuff on my walls is all from our art and stuff from the studio and stuff. I'll show you. I'll post some more stuff.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Really beautiful pieces of art. All right. So what time is it? We're at 10:46. Is there anything else that you want to cover? Is there anything else that's coming to you?
Oh man, we could talk for forever, just in that flow state. And I really appreciate that you're open to the flow state, because it scares a lot of people. Like, what are we going to talk about? And I'm like, just trust, just conversate. Just let the flow happen. So I really appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody listening, and I'm excited to do this again for sure.
Absolutely. It's funny because the flow state's so powerful that I'm just like, all right, because what you just said is a huge point. I got we're so scared of relationships. We're so scared because we always got to have an expectation on what we got to say, the way we got to show up instead. And so we're always thinking about what we're thinking about while other person's talking about what they're talking about. And most of the time the person's pushing something out of themselves through their expectations. So they were thinking about what they were thinking about while they're saying what they're saying, while you're thinking about what you're thinking about, what you're going to say while they're saying it. So you never even hear each other. Like that's the normal.
Right. You don't actively listen.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about that in the men's group, is active listening. You're not thinking about your next question, or you're not hearing somebody's story and already accumulating your own. You're actually hearing them. So that's really powerful, brother.
And one of the other things real quick is that I used to throw my energy above everyone else, because if it wasn't above everyone else, if I let anyone speak, if I let anyone do their thing, then I have a chance of not being accepted. So if I go out of this room and everybody's talking shit like, hey, that motherfucker's off the hook, that dude's off the hook and stuff like that, and he's just crazy, I don't hear any of that. Like, I'm okay, cool. You remember me. and I leave, and I don't care. and I would not let anyone do their thing. And that didn't matter to me because
Right.
I was not accepted in it. Even though I was highly unaccepted, I was not accepted at all. But I didn't even care about it. So that's like being able to kick back and really be in a room and really observe things without throwing your energy around and like trying to say like, hey everyone, I want to hug, and like da 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 da, like being that false light. And because I was uncomfortable that if I lowered my energy, I would feel an uncomfortableness of just being myself because I hadn't accepted myself
Right.
yet. So those are two things.
Right. I love you, brother.
I love you. Hey, do you want to do 10 deep breaths real quick with each other?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we're going to think about our chest. Our chest is, and everybody else, our chest is a inflatable balloon inflating in and out. So we're filling it all the way up and slowly. You don't have to fill it all crazy, and just release and just deflate that balloon. So we're going to go ahead and take in a nice deep breath. Breathe in. Letting go. Breathe in. Letting go. Breathe in. And 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 letting go. One more. Breathe in. And letting go. Just appreciation to everyone's heart center, appreciation to everyone's journey, appreciation to the absolute step that you're on, just acceptance and being and seeing with all that you are right where you're at and walking the path that you need to. I accept you. I accept myself. I see you. I know you see me. I appreciate you and I love you with all my mind, body, and spirit. Absolutely.
Amen, brother. Thank you so much.
Amen. Amen.
Beautiful man. Beautiful man.
Is there
I can't
anything
wait
you
to
want
do
to?
this again.
Is there anything you want to say to the people? I know you have some good ending messages.
Love yourself. Love yourself fiercely. Love yourself fiercely like you would a child. Love your inner child and hold your own hand through life. You are all that you need, and you are the one you've been waiting for. So show up for yourself. You owe it to yourself to love yourself and forgive yourself and give yourself grace and understand that this life is so beautiful when you let go and get out of your own way. You have all the power in your heart. Jonathan, man, I love you. I love all of you. Till next time, man. Blessings.
Sunday, man. Next week. Sunday next week. If anything changes, we'll keep with the same thing. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely, man.
Love you. Bye.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Love you, man.
Bye. Woohoo!